Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Inside here, you get an insight and you know something, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out. we're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss. Look who's starting it all off, it's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
But a nice roll through one thing is just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Animal immediately to back and finds skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back today once, like I said I would. I mean, I was here earlier, I said be back, and I never lie, do I? Has now been 10 o'clock. We have finally locked into our grand finals for the Masters Division of the mid-season bracket. We have an exciting first and second seed duel happening right on our screens in a couple of seconds. It's Sort of Skilled, whom we saw a little bit earlier, you and I, just yesterday or 2 days ago. And we also have Low Ground Main, the second seed, coming up, fulfilling that seed, and hopefully might be able to get a big upset on the number 1 in the Masters Division. I'm Maneva, joined by the wonderful Thor, and I'm super excited to cover you guys once again.
Exactly. If there was one thing that, we at least casted from Sort of Skilled last, I think a few days ago, is that this is definitely going to be a very competitive match between these two teams. First and second seeds are just really no joke at the end of the day. So the fact that they're able to meet each other yet again in this grand finals, right, just really solidifies that they are deserving of those 2 spots. Low Ground Main, though, almost, potentially losing that out to Shoeville Nation, but clutched it out in the end in that 3-2 scoreline. Sort of Skilled, on the other hand, we saw it on stream, looked a bit dicey on that first 2 maps, but, turned it over right away in Runasapi. So we're at least hoping to see what might be a very close matchup between these 2 teams.
For sure. And as we've been seeing these grand finals come to head in the past couple of days on CGO, they have been nothing short of extremely entertaining. Lots of funny things happen. I mean, today I saw... Let me tell you what I saw. Just today in grand finals, I believe the open division, I did see a ball get pushed off of New Queen Street and then plummet into their death. It was quite beautiful, I must say, from the open division. But here's a schedule recap of what's happening right now. And right at start at 8 o'clock, we have BBBTTR, Big Tartar Fans 600, going up against RRG Varsity. Still super, super close. 1-1 so far. Go tune in, see what's going on over there. And of course, right now we have Sort of Skilled versus Low Ground Main. And earlier today, I covered Bliss Mowders versus EMC Canados. The Canados had a wonderful 3-1 victory, and 0907 had an even better perfect 3-0 against the Flock in their grand finals match. So lots of really fun stuff happening. I believe that was actually a semis match, but regardless, more stuff happening today, even more stuff closing out tomorrow. So you have to keep your eyes peeled, your ears open for when we're live on all of our channels for these grand finals.
Exactly. And, what way to get that continued rolling by, tuning in at this Sort of Skilled matchup versus Low Ground Main. But we are entering into that ban phase with Low Ground Main winning the coin flip and letting them ban first. Now, we are starting on Oasis for tonight as the first map. So I'm expecting, at least my opinion about Oasis is it can get very, diverse, varied in the compositions that you could run, right? You have usually City Center being something that's just really open to dive and brawl all together. But if we're just going to take a look at that, then what are heroes that work well in these maps? I think something that could maneuver the high grounds well is what ends up being banned. And for Low Ground Main, that's the Genji.
Yeah, speaking of that high ground, Genji, yeah, out of here. No climbing for you, no nothing. Not even gonna be a factor in these in this first map of Oasis. And What a shame. Also, Genji kind of the forefront of the DPSs on Oasis, especially on downtown, especially on City Center and University at the same time. Then you also have a Diva ban, so another interesting pick there. And you would think whenever you think of, I believe it's City Center, you think of the dive, you think of the Winston, you think of on a brick in the back line. You never really think about the Diva, and it's a very interesting pick there to see, and it might be a little more targeted than I'm initially putting out. So very interesting from the Diva and the Genji, but that leaves open a lot of support variations in the backline. It leaves open a lot of different DPSs to be coupled with likely a Sojourn or an Echo or a Pharah. For the tank, I can't lie, Thor. I've been seeing a lot of manga these past couple of hours. I'm getting stressed out. It's scary out there. As we go over to the lineup, Sword of Skill, we saw you guys earlier, and I am happy to welcome you guys back to CGL like I said I would. Dragonor and Dub coming back on that DPS line. They call me M, popping off with that tank, and Varo and Ligma. I'm not saying the whole thing, girl. I can't do it. But Varo and Ligma in the back line, wrecking havoc as they always do.
Yep, and on the flip side for low ground main, we do have the following, I guess, like starting 5 from them, right? We have Kind and Pred running that DPS line, making sure that the damage comes in on all angles. Zebra Cookie running that tank, and finally to round up the back line, you have Zetai Ryoki and Saucer. Now, if there's one thing we have at least seen is that Zebra Cookie and They Call Me M both have Junker Queen as their main, tank selection. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Junker Queen v Junker Queen action that might happen tonight, depending on how the map picks go.
The way the game was meant to be played. Oh my goodness. I just want 2 Junker Queens going at it. Big JQ fan, big Rush fan. Actually, I believe that might be both of their favorite. Actually, no, it's not. I believe for, of course, Sword of Skill, they love playing the Queen Brawl, but they actually like playing Dive, and they like the Hazard meta, so we might be seeing that make a reappearance, especially on Oasis, given the fact that we've shut down a Diva, so your Clash of Dive Heroes has kind of been limited in some way, shape, or form. And as a reminder, of course, this is technically round 2, Grand Finals, for this small division, or the small Masters mid-season division. We're starting off on Oasis, but map 2 and further maps will always be decided by the loser. Both the mode and the map will be decided alongside the loser getting first ban pick at the same time, and the winner will be able to choose which side they want to start off on, whether it's attack or defense. So that's a quick reminder for everybody. They're getting ready, Thor, so we're going straight into the game.
Yep, and walking into Oasis, it looks like we might be starting off first on Garden, which I think out of all the maps, I think allows more for either the brawlier kind of setup or even the dive. I think it's the one that's less structured into a specific composition. And if this chaotic spawn room has anything to hint to us, is they're rolling out with a Reinhardt on one side. Maybe it's a fluke, maybe, I don't know, but if that is your support line for it, I think it could work. Now, low ground main sticking to that monkey, and I think that also is something that could work on Gardens, but it looks like it's going to be a Hazard v a Winston kind of composition and fight, so everything else pretty much the same. So it's a matter of changing playstyles based on what you see from the enemy team.
Oh, for sure. One's going to be about speed, one's going to be about patience, and They Call Me M, not much of a patient person, already looking for their first target is that backline. Forces Suzu already, force the wall as well to back up, and just like that, you've separated Winston from the supports. Unfortunately, Call Me M just couldn't find that high ground, but it doesn't really matter. We trade off both Kiriko, still even here for either side of the field at the same time. We've lost our soldier, however, Kind finding that pick very surprisingly so. Zebra Cookie getting viral, and now, as you can see, Thor is kind of going back and forth slowly but surely. However, it's looking a little bit more in favor of low ground main, especially as their Tracer and now the Sojourn starting to come back from that spawn room and bring everyone back to a full reset here. And they get the flip over.
Yes. No, they do not get the flip over yet. They finally do after someone steps off the point, but now that everyone is fully healthy, this is going to be an engagement again. No ultimates online, but pulse bomb ready for the side of Fred.
Oh, Suzu Ray expended early onward. Pred about to get that pulse as well in their favor. And I wanted to go into like a Kiriko. I want to get anything else, but I mean, it's going to be Zebra Cookie instead on the red team. Going down really early on from Dragonor with the rail shot. Pulse goes completely wide. Very confident, I must say. Varo does find Saucer and Dub and Call Me M. There we go. It is going to be going back towards the site of Sort of Skilled. Low ground main going to be having both support also at the ready, and same thing with Overclock, so it should be an explosive fight here.
Yep, and if I am at least sort of skilled, I'd probably want to open up maybe a pick with that Pulse Bomb or something to force out a cooldown, as on the side of low ground main, they don't have that anymore. So you can already see low ground main trying to set up, trying to pincer of sorts, but with Pred being very low, that might be a go signal to just really go in and commit.
Oh, and commit onto Kind they do. Varo popping off on the Lucio has Zombie for extra protection. In fact, actually have all 5 ultimates in the defense side of things for Sort of Skilled. There's a Zombie coming in from Saucer. Now we're kind of looking over to Zeta to see if they're going to be able to expend the Kiriko ultimate, but no, it's going to be Ligma and Varo both using their own. It is basically an old dump here. 4 ultimates on the side of Sort of Skilled, whereas low ground main, they understand, you know what? That was an ult dump. Dub might get a 5k here. Nope, cuts it a little bit short by Dragonor, taking that last final blow from their teammate.
I bet in the comps right there, Dub's going to be calling out Dragonor for taking that last kill, but what they still have that Dragonor can use is that Overclock, the only ultimate they have to work with, and it is up to Sort of Skill to create that opening by creating a pincer. As for low ground main, I think they need to take this high ground or force out the Sojourn and then just commit with an ultimate. Our rush is there, it's available, I think that's something they should use.
They're gonna have to. They don't have a Lucio. There's the rush we're talking about right there. And we also have the Primal ready. Kind goes up to, and uses the Overclock here just to make some space. Maybe get a couple of picks here. But it's actually gonna be going by the way of low ground main. They're losing 2 people. The Primal juggling Ligma is massive, but that's the only thing you're able to get out of that whole entire exchange. Everyone's so low for Sort of Skilled. Even Call Me M has to find a way to sustain while also getting that last pick onto Saucer, and they absolutely are able to do that. Beautiful round from SOS. Low ground main, I feel like they have a good foundation that they can build off of. It's just a warm-up round.
Definitely, that's sometimes how these maps work out, and I think for low ground main, if you know that Sort of Skilled is running out with this Hazard, and they want to play that Winston composition, they're going to have to change, I guess, the speed at how they want to play and how quick they have to set up, because if there's one thing the Hazard composition really does is really ups the tempo, as opposed to a Winston composition where it's kind of like slow down set up. But as we walk into City Center, it looks like these 2 teams are going for something different, Sort of Skilled going for that dive gear composition of a Winston instead of, you know, the Band Diva, which is why maybe they wanted to ban the Diva, is to ensure it wasn't there when they go to City Center. Low ground main though, sticking to this Wrecking Ball, and I think Ligma has to, you know, play their life along with Viral and force out cooldowns from this Wrecking Ball. But we have a pause.
We're getting a very quick pause from my players right now. And that's okay. You know, take the pause. Take that free break just to reset yourself, because that first round, it really was pretty close. Arguably, I mean, the Hazard and the Winston both had a lot of things going for them, but it was really just starring the DPS, you know, the picks that Sort of Skilled were able to get in very pivotal moments that really shut down one of the supports on low ground main. You know, there's sometimes where we didn't have our Lucio or our Pure got picked off, and you always had just like one or the other. So as we go into City Center, you have a little bit more open space. The dives are a little bit easier to set up at the same time because you have a very free high ground that is relatively out of the way for people to try to contest, unless you go around that back high ground, go in the jump pad, or you can have a wall climb ability like Hazard does, for example. Or, you know, now we see the ball coming out. That's interesting. We have ball making a reappearance at the same time, which I'm pretty much a good fan of.
I mean, I'm definitely a huge fan of Wrecking Ball on City Center, at least for maps within Oasis. I think there's just a lot of pathing that's available for Wrecking Ball to really just go in and out and create that disruption. A lot of walls to roll people into, the slams from the various high grounds. Ensure that you don't really have to be expending that grapple just to create a slam, right? You could just normally maybe take a jump pad and slam from high ground from there rather than using the grapple itself. So there's a lot of options for a Wrecking Ball to play around in City Center, but what I would want to see from the support line of these two teams is just really being able to survive with what's going to come at them, because this is going to be heavily dive favored at the end of the day. And if there's one thing we're sure of, if Sword of Skill is planning to run out on this Brig Ana, they're definitely going to try taking that high ground.
Oh yeah. Oh, Brig Ana. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy that Ana is like, she's back, baby. Oh my goodness. We're going straight back in, is what it is, ain't what it ain't. We have the Ana Brig, we have the Juno Brig going at it. I feel like we have something of like the old guard and the new guard coming in with the both back lines. Oh, but when you get slept, when you get low, and when you get honing beam like that from Dub, Zebra Cookie is not even gonna be a factor in this next engagement, and this fight becomes a whole lot harder for low ground main. Look how split up they are. Look how far back they have to retreat. They're actually going around the coast where the cars are rather than their own spawn. And there we go. We gotta wait for Zebra Cookie to make a swap to that Winston.
Yep, and you could already see this support line of Sword of Skill taking that high ground. If I am low ground main, the only way you're going to force out that team to feel a bit of a struggle playing that high ground is taking the opposite side, and I think that's what low ground main is trying to do, but there's already the pincer from Sword of Skill, so it's back to the drawing board for them. And if there's one thing we're seeing is that this coordination with They Call Me M and Dub has been oppressive.
Agreed, buddy. We got it. Okay, there we go. Just giving M free ult charge is Zebra Cookie. But you're right, they're struggling against his Echo, forces Kind to mirror it here. So almost actually completely mirrored comps here is all about the fact that who's getting their setup ready, who's getting their the backline trade off with the counter dives. That's the biggest factor that's gonna be really putting low ground main ideally in a better spot. Anything already used defensively from the side of sort of skilled Pred trying to pepper the back line, but Dragonor doing a slightly better job of just killing and getting the biggest factors out of the fight, which is of course gonna be Zebra Cookie. They Call Me M. Once again, like we mentioned, so good at working in tandem with their DPS that everyone on low ground main is starting to just fall right on over, and I think the momentum is starting to shift rapidly in SOS's favor. And just like that, here's the Primal to juggle Cookie.
Yep, and I think Cookie manages to stay alive through all of that. Call Me M is forced back, but if there's one thing I really want to see with low ground main is really to commit to a dive to this high ground. It seems that they're waiting too long for Zebra and Cookie and Fred are waiting too long to dive on this high ground, and they finally do, creating that opening and getting the picks.
They get rid of Kind here. Kind gained 2, however, before they die. So really good stuff. But here's the Nano expended and committed onto Pred, allowing the Tracer main to go completely wild with that stick. The pulse bomb was beautiful. They burn out the duplicate from Dub. Dub does not find the Dub. Instead, Dub finds the spawn room, and now it's 93% to low ground main finally getting the back in their favor. 20% on the board now.
Yep, and if I'm low ground main, I would want my supports on that high ground that the SOS backline were initially playing. You have you have Rally to work with, so that should at least be there to deter any dive that goes onto your core in that high ground. But it's a matter of posturing them and at least have the Tracers 1v1 each other.
Oh, a lot of colors in front of Kind's face. Couldn't get the honing beam off, but we do get the duplicate. Beautiful whip shot coming through from Saucer, but not Saucer, excuse me, from Viral, but will not be for very long. We get the duplicate. It does get burned out, and then Kind themselves no longer even in the fight anymore. Sort of skilled, still finding so many picks here in the just in the mid and in the neutral. We get to pick up the Saucer from the Echo Stickies. Ligma unfortunately does get thrown off of the high ground, but she's still able to put in a lot of effort in this fight, especially as we have the Nano in the back pocket. Likely wants to just extend it maybe on our Brig, but Viral down early. Couldn't even get the Nano confirmation off in time. The sleep goes completely wide, but we get the trade-off, and we get hacked. Where did Kind come from?
Well, Kind has to touch the point yet again and trying to find an opening hack on the Winston, but it looks like they're going to have to run away and touch the point. Managed to do so right away. 1v1ing a Tracer, trying to get one more tick out, but that is not enough. There's only so much that a Sombra can do. Ultimately, SOS take that first map of Oasis into their pocket.
And take it they do. very well coordinated dives. There was some highlight, but I think just in the grand scheme of things and how proficient they are with this composition, I think it's pretty safe to say that SOS has a higher level understanding and execution of their Winston dive than their opponent does. And as unfortunate as that is, that only means that you have the opportunity to play other compositions and other maps that will benefit maybe a brawl or a poke more, or some sort of hybrid of the two. You know, if we want to go back to something that might work, you know, I think going to an escort or a hybrid might be able to give them a little bit of time to slow it down, have different phases at the same time, helps you kind of reset in the in-between rounds, you know, and Control doesn't allow that to really happen. So as I'm looking at low ground main to pick their map and mode, I would almost argue like we can go to like a Midtown, we can go to a King's Row, things where you can kind of play the poke and the dive, the poke and the brawl without having any sort of freedom for the other team to play that dive.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that assessment. And I think if you're already seeing from, playing that kind of dive mirror from the enemy team and you're already struggling and sense that maybe this isn't the composition you'd want to face them on head on, bring them to a map that maybe might be in a composition that works better for you. And if we've already worked with dive, maybe try something that's brawly or something pokier. So I do agree we should maybe see low ground main pick a mode that's brawlier, right? That could be going to maybe a push map or something like a flashpoint if they really do insist, or if they really want to take out one of these, hybrid maps out of the way. King's Row, always a good choice at the end of the day.
1000% agreed there. And we also got to think about the bans. We saw the Diva ban, we saw the what was it? What was the other ban they did? The Diva was more important. Oh, the Genji ban. There we go. I was like, Genji, oh, it's okay, whatever. The Diva ban was more important in my eyes. But we banned the Diva, we banned the Genji early on, and that really means, okay, they can't ban again, but we can at least ban, if we want to go back to a dive, we can go back to diving the Winston, banning the Winston, and maybe just forcing a Hazard Mirror, or even forcing the Malga, who has been very strong, very, very strong as of late across a lot of the CGL streams we've already done from Grand Finals, and also in the greater pro play we saw, if you were tuned in earlier today. And speaking of, looks like we have Esperanza locked and loaded as our next mode, so good call on the push, and I have to agree with Esperanza. You can still play dive here, but if you're smart about your band, you can render the Winston kind of immobile to playing a good dive.
Exactly, but I think what push maps have generally been notorious, or at least known for really well, is the fact that back when they first came out, they heavily became Queen favorite maps. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's just an attempt by low ground main to force maybe a Junker Queen mirror between each other. So that is for us to see and wait. But low ground main, as the losers of that previous map, are the first to ban, and I'm pretty sure if there's something they'd want to ban to ensure that they're playing a specific kind of tank, you'll ban a tank, right? Just to make sure of that.
Yeah, and I saw a little bit earlier today just on pro play, just banning to protect is completely viable. Now, I don't think this is a protection ban. I think this is just a I hate Malga ban, and I completely agree. I cannot blame you. We're banning the Malga first and foremost, and for a good reason. I think Malga also is pretty expertly played on Esperanza more often than not. And if you just want to take that out, that's great. It opens up Ormatra, opens up Hazard, opens up Queen, opens up Orisa, opens up a lot of the tanks that you typically wouldn't see when Malga is on the table. But as we phase away from low tier mains ban, we're now going over, or low ground main, we're going over to the SOS ban, which has been, they're so fast. I love this. Juno's banned immediately.
I mean, if you're thinking about that burst of speed, right, that's going to be coming from a Juno more than anything. And the fact is just Juno at the end of the day still pops out more healing as one of the two characters that offers speed, right? Still provides more healing to sustain through, these brawlier kind of fights. So when you remove that, you limit a team to playing speed with a Lucio. And that doesn't really pump up as much healing as needed. So it's going to be a lot of coordinating the targets that they either rush on or dive on as a team.
For sure. And I don't hate these bans either. And banning the Juno, banning the Juno, funnily enough, hinders a couple of comps that have been pretty strong in the past couple of weeks, months, as of right now. You know, you don't have the Juno Break, you don't have the Juno On, you don't have Juno Kiri, you don't have Juno anyone, because you don't have Juno Lucio, you don't have that double speed. That does make the Queen comp even better at times. So as we go over to Esperanza, as we see what rosters, what compositions we're gonna be running here, is looking, I think, is looking really good for Sword of Skilled. But you're also seeing two tank players that both like playing Queen, and so this might become a battle of literally just the Queens, and I'm 1000% down to see that.
Oh yeah, and I think what also just helps with, that kind of fight is you're pretty sure on what the backline is, right? I think the Juno ban at the end of the day forces, your backline to have a Lucio, and normally what works best with a Lucio in these kind of like brawlier setups is going to be a Kiriko. Is there a world where you could play a Baptiste in this? Hard to say, but I wouldn't mind. I think Bap has needed more playtime besides being played in Circuit Royale.
No, I was gonna say I need to know where in the world I was looking at observers. I don't know what that was. I like before this the screen of the lobsters had no idea what I was looking at. Shout outs to you guys for making me confused every time. What was it? I'm being worried that something it's actually something. I have no idea what it was. But as we see the rosters lock in, I think we've. Oh, look at that! It was a target ban to Zebra, the diva earlier. That's interesting. That's crazy.
I think Zebra might just be way more comfortable on Diva as a dive character, so willingly still going to do it on Esperanza. So this is going to be an interesting head-on-head. This is going to be a lot of diving on a target together, and might just be hard melting the hazard when you can, because there are M's already dropping half health.
M doesn't have anyone to really dive onto right now, and it's becoming difficult. I mean, there's one right there, but they're sliding right out. We have the wall, and that's the block. That's the shards. That just finishes off Kind. But while we were distracted with Kind, we've lost Dragon at the same time. So it's a trade-off of DPSs. We have another pause screen, unfortunately. I'm gonna reach into the screen. I'm gonna tell you. Oh wait, I know who it is. We know who it is. We know who it is. We have a chronic DCer on SOS. Oh my god! How can I forget? How can I really forget?
They were in our interview, right? The last time we had them, so they said it loud and clear, like they're the chronic DCer, and maybe they're trying to get all the DCs out of the way in this first 2 maps already, because I think this is the second pause we've had. One per map so far.
But what we have to also understand is now that it's been 2 pauses, I have to remember, bring out the fact that they only have a certain number of minutes in their break. I believe it's 7 minutes in total, and DCs do count towards those break minutes. But we're going straight in really quickly, so thankfully they should only have maybe wasted 2 minutes maximum in total so far. Not the worst thing in the world. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Call Me M. Look, then they don't even have ult charge. Oh my goodness, my Chungus. Oh my god.
I mean, they DC'd, they lost the charge. That's just where it's unfortunate at the end of the day. But at least it's early on with Zebra Cookie just taking the space already, forcing everyone else from SOS to just back off, wait for their tank to come back, and it looks like they're going for the kind of dive-ish mirror, going for a Winston this case. I think the shield just providing a bit more protection for the DPS line.
Oh, look at the peel from Zebra Cookie as we see Komium attempt to dive the high ground of the bridge. It doesn't work. You know, the Diva is able to really bolster him down with the missiles, with the primary fire, and also with the rest of the team really there to peel back and attack Zebra Cookie, who has, to call me M, who has still stuck with the Winston. And I like the fact I like to think that, you know, the hazard was too powerful for their PC. They had to go to the Winston.
That's a funny call, but Dub already dropping very low, and a counter dive already happening by Zebra Cookie, seeing the they call me M going for the back line. So they're at close to bomb, so Rush should be committed, but no, they commit beat on the side of SOS first.
Yeah, we commit the beat. We still have this Kiriko continue rush for Ligma, who she's not gonna be able to use it at all. They get completely found out by Zebra, but we at least are able to trade off the Kiriko, so it's relatively even. We demec the Diva, we get the bomb off, but I don't think we slide out in time! Dragon try to be cheeky, but we get the Diva! We do get Diva at the end of the day.
No, but they also got Cap. That's a big deal for low ground main. They got capped, even if it was just Zebra Cookie getting demeched on the point with that bomb. So for SOS, they need to hard regroup because low ground main has better spawns at this moment. So right now, they're going to have to re-engage. SOS has to re-engage with the rush.
They have to because they already used Dub's duplicate. Didn't get anything because everyone was already out of the fight by that point. Bread has Visor, Kind, and Dragonair both have mirroring overclocks ready in the back pocket. We are going to be seeing one of the two be expended here. That being overclock. We have a return of the beat from Saucer as a response to the Casino Rush we see on the right in the middle of the point, so beautifully laid out. But as beautiful as that rush was, Sort of Skilled unfortunately just fall right on over to low ground main, and they can take the bot once again past this checkpoint.
Yeah, Sort of Skilled need to lock in, have this overclock to work with, and that overclock has to get value. There's nothing that's going to deny it right now on the side of low ground main other than Zebra Cookie eating the shots. So, if there's anything that Zebra needs to do is to make sure to stay in mech as long as they can to ensure this overclock doesn't get value.
1000%. They have to, at the same time, just get bomb as fast as possible as well. But they might even have to. I mean, we see the overclock coming in from Dragon, but you're down 2 people. You're down your tank, you're down your Tracer. Overclock didn't get much, if any, value. They're trying to slide out. Zebra Cookie is gonna back up, meet them around the other entranceway, and now they're kind of between a rock and a hard place. We slide out, but my Kiriko's stuck there until we have TP again.
Yeah, and for that Kiriko, you wish you could get out, but I think they managed to get the peel. Zeta Ryoki trying to build towards a rush, and I think that's something that would seal the deal for them. But I think for low ground main, that means just backing off a bit to build it up, and exactly that's what they're doing.
Oh, we lost Dragon once again, which means low ground main doesn't have to back up as much as they really need to. They're 103 meters to 0. Orbital, excuse me, the sound barrier comes through from Vero, but is it a little bit too late for it? You're already down most of your team. Call me M, Cream, proc the Primal and time to stall.
Yeah, I think at that moment you wish that you had beaten for your soldier, for your sojourn at the end of the day, because that's going to be the hardest main source of damage. And they call me M, seeing this Diva switches to a Zarya just to make sure that no shots are being eaten, but bombs already online for them.
Oh, that build up was already expended. Oh my goodness. One of them just got burned right through, and then Kind comes in with the assassination against M and Vero. Casino Rush right in the objective, opposing sides actually from both, but there's no touch to be seen. And oh my goodness, 140 some meters to 0. Wow. Did not think this was going to turn around like this.
That's a game. That is a map of all time. If I am low ground main, I would be proud of myself, like ourselves as a team, for managing to even do that, right? You've denied any push whatsoever by SOS and ensured that you kept those forward spawns. And I really think that it was a targeted ban. That Diva is a targeted ban, and if there's anything low ground main has shown is that even if it's a map like Esperanza, like they could still run a Diva. Like normally what we consider something as brawly or rush of a map, okay to do Diva. And I think a part of it is just because there's a bit more high grounds on that map.
Absolutely. And it's so much easier to sneak people into uncomfortable situations or uncomfortable areas of Esperanza, which you saw happen multiple times against the backline of SOS. They were in that small room a lot of times. They were forced into these uncomfortable rotations that they were being body blocked by Diva most of the time and separated from Call Me M. So that Diva ban, we have to talk about it. It might have been too early. It might have been a much earlier ban than anticipated, and I think Sort of Skilled might be kicking themselves in the back of the head right now because they burned it so early on. You can't duplicate that ban, so now they have to start banning around the Diva. What does Diva not work with? They tried the Juno. Well, excuse me, I think low ground main banned Juno, but no, they banned Malga.
No.
But the Juno was banned. But she still works with Kira Lucio. Do you ban a Kira or Lucio next? Do you ban the Sojourn next? We don't know.
Well, if I'm Sort of Skilled, I at least have time to think about what I should ban, but not only that, what map mode and map I should be going to after this short break. So don't go anywhere for those in the CGL Nation.
And of course, we have made it back to the map 3 of our dreams. Grand finals of the Masters Division. We are seeing a 1-to-1 super back and forth game between Sort of Skilled and Low Ground Main, where we just saw Low Ground Main take the entire way of Esperanza, all meters, and Sort of Skilled having none to their name. So it's been really back and forth. You know, I walked into this and I was actually kind of expecting Sort of Skill to walk out of here 2-0 so far until the break, but it's been really close so far.
It has been very close, and even for both the maps, you could think that in Oasis, as much as Low Ground Main did put up some fights and get some tick percentage, it really looked like Sort of Skill just had it in the bag right away, and it was a tale so different once they entered into Esperanza, with Low Ground Main just finally taking it, seeing that their diva was finally online and Zebra Cookie doing so much work. But now that we're on map 3 and it is the pick of Sort of Skill, they have sent us to Flashpoint, specifically New Junk City. Now, fun fact, as we're looking at these team sheets also, is that for both of these teams, their favorite map for this specific mode is the only one where they're different. These two teams actually have the same favorite map for Escort, Hybrid, and Push. So we're going to see really if Sort of Skilled can get this locked in as we enter into this ban phase with SOS, taking that first pick, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a tank.
Ooh, Zarya. Really nice. Okay, not Sort of Skill, excuse me, Low Ground Main opting to ban the Zarya. We did see a peek of the Zarya in the very end tail of Esperanza, and I can't lie, I don't think you were able to get the momentum enough for Zarya to really start doing Zarya things to that diva. So, but I think they want to just be able to play the diva without the threat of the Zarya. Yeah, you can play diva into like the Sim, you can play diva into the Moira, and that's okay. We can deal with beam characters for a little bit. But when you have a Zarya that's in your face, full Bower, and she has like 400 HP, yeah, I would also just ban her off the bat if I want to play diva, especially on New Junk City. And oh, my non-binary bestie, Venture, no longer also gonna be played here, banned, brutally, and I honestly, I don't hate it. I've been seeing Venture a lot more in New Junk City.
I don't hate it because I think Venture as a character is very specific in maps that they are played. Because if there's one thing at least I've noticed for Venture is they're normally played in Flashpoint maps, because I think just the way the whole map is designed altogether just allows for these various flanks, ways to get out, right? Being able to dig under and just change where you are is very impactful. So I'm not too angry or surprised at this ban by Low Ground Main. I think what I find interesting is Sort of Skilled as the team that came out with that Zarya at the tail end of Esperanza. With that Zarya, wasn't able to get any momentum besides the ban it this time around. So I have a feeling that maybe this might be more than a hero ban. It is more of a role, locking a role to make sure that Low Ground Main can't ban tank.
Yeah, for sure. And that's completely viable, especially if you're a loser getting that first ban. You have that advantage in your court, so you have to hit that ball and shoot it right in that basketball field. We are gonna be seeing New Junk City, like you said earlier. I think we're gonna be seeing the diva again. Funnily enough, I wouldn't be surprised if we can actually see Malga come into play now that he's no longer banned. We did see that Malga ban on Esperanza, but now he should be free to play. I think the compositions will also favor Sort of Skilled if we do see them go over to the Malga or even the Queen. You know, this is kind of where she does reign supreme, literally, on New Junk City. So a lot of different options can be played here, and I'm kind of excited to see all of them be tried out, because They Call Me M is not afraid to swap if need be.
Yeah, I think that is what we have at least seen from They Call Me M, is they are one of the tanks that I've seen who is not afraid to swap out of what they are running, right? Really adjusting to what is needed by the team at a given moment. But as we load into New Junk City, I'm wondering then what compositions they plan to run. Low Ground Main sticking to a diva composition yet again. I think this is their bread and butter at the end of the day. So if I'm Sort of Skilled, I would have to figure out how to deal with this, and honestly, a Judo Moira setup, not even mad. I think this works.
I love it. Oh, Dragonor and Pred are gonna have a really intense fight in the backline while the rest of the teams are fighting where we expect them to really be in the arena. Teleport already expended from Zeta to try to get away from this running queen of Call Me M. Now we're trying to find this soldier who's running for their lives, and Pred's legs are not fast enough to outrun the speed of Dub, and of course, they Call Me M. Zebra Cookie now coming in with the fight, having to help the rest of the team evade and wait for Pred to come back. Should be relatively fast, but Dub goes straight in and forces everyone on this little pillar. Objective unlocks, goes over to the side of Sword of Skilled first and foremost, and this I'm sure is a welcome change for the side of SOS.
Yeah, and I think for SOS, the reason you play that Moira instead of, you know, another character really is just the D.Va can't really eat your damage either. So this makes it just easier to keep your team up throughout the fights, and that's exactly what is happening. Zeta Ryoki managed to get Dragonor before, you know, their life is extended by a Moira, and oh no, the stagger of ages again.
It's gonna be a good one because Zeta just respawned, so Zebra's gonna get the full like 8 or 7 seconds for their respawn. 47%, and a reminder for anyone who doesn't know, the points on Flashpoint do tick by much faster than Control, so this could easily veer into last fight territory.
Yep, and that could even make it easier if Dragonor builds up towards a Pulse Bomb and denies maybe Pred, for example, from doing the damage that they can do, because I think the Cassidy pick really is there to just slow down the aggression of They Call Me M as they get a knife onto Zebra Cookie.
Ooh, Kind running super low there, you see in the top right. So is Saucer, no worse for wear. We trade off both of the supports for this, from either team here, but the biggest target... Oh, we're playing Bring On the Rosie. We're playing Bring On the Rosie. We got the point, however, for Sword of Skilled, but I think probably going over to the Cassidy may not be the best, because you kind of become target number 1 because of how little mobility you do have at your disposal. And now it's just both the tanks going at it, finishing off Zebra Cookie. Should be able to get the Rig respawn with Kind, however.
I think if there's a character I would want to see Pred go towards, if they really want to deal with this brawler kind of setup that Sort of Skilled wants to play and the tempo they want to play, lock in that Reaper. As much as like we normally characterize Reaper to melt Winstons and monkeys at the end of the day, I think they're able to survive longer when stacked with a Junker Queen at the end of the day. But there are ults online for Sort of Skilled, and a Pulse Bomb is committed, doesn't get anything except their death.
Ooh, Zebra Cook finds a first pick on the Dragonor 4, and that's also Rampage from Call Me M. That's a good verse. I love when you can see the clear response. Oh my god, we lost one. Okay, let's use our Rampage and get the fight cleaned up and over with. And that's exactly what we saw from Sort of Skilled. Very nicely done. And also a good pickup. 5% only to the low ground main, and it flips over to Sort of Skilled really, really quickly.
Yep, Dragonor is already back in the team, building towards another Pulse Bomb. You're going to have Genji Blade, and the only answer to that, if you're a low ground main, is to have that beat online. So I think number 1 target for both of these teams is going to be Lucio, and there is our DC number 3, 1 per map.
Oh no, we have 1 per map, right?
1 per map. It's
yes. Yes, we have 1 per map.
1 per map.
You can see like my real pose. I'm like watching like this. I'm like really analyzing. And I gotta be like, oh snap, I'm back on the camera. But we, you know, pause happens. It is what it is. Again, they have to be really careful about these pauses, however, because it's starting to eat into their break time. You know, times they can call for physical pauses. So they have to be really careful. Hopefully M gets it sorted out really fast so we can go right back in as fast as we did the second time. But they know they're a chronic DCer, and it is just kind of unfortunate. But it gives low ground main a chance to reconvene with themselves, get their mental up, because they did just lose the first round, but there's up to 5 to play into. So I love the fact that we already swapped over to the to the Junker Queen really quickly. So just to kind of even out the tempo that SOS clearly wants to play at with their own queen.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think now the question for low ground main is, if we are mirroring that Junker Queen, is what DPS line do we run it with? The Tracer definitely works with, you know, the composition at the end of the day, but is there a reason why we stick to this Cassidy rather than maybe another character? I think if there's one thing I've noticed for Flashpoint maps in general, is that it leans towards players who can play that double flex DPS. I think Flashpoint at the end of the day just really thrives in chaos and less structure, so a double flex DPS kind of setup always works. Like, arguably Tracer is like that weird, sometimes played by hit scans, sometimes played by flex DPS, but Blade committed by Dub to create an opening and doesn't really get much from it.
Ligma also using the Coalescence to help sustain during this fight as they are missing M, who's walking back from spawn. We saw a little glimpse of their journey over here. Now they're back. Beautiful. They get kind off really, really sneakily as well. Beautiful stuff, but the point is now super even on both ends here. Zebra Cookie has the Rampage on lock whenever necessary. Pred finds a kill onto Dub, and there we go. A 3-man Rampage. That healing is not going to do anything, Ligma, as we are seeing the cleanup of the century from low ground main.
Yeah, at that point, you wish you had that Kiriko with you, because if we're just looking at the old, at the characters that sort of skills have, nothing really is there to cleanse a huge Rampage, right? Normally, a beat would help sustain, or a cleanse from a Kiriko would do wonders, but right now, there really isn't anything. So if I'm SOS, it's really just accepting the result and slowing down maybe the capture or just quick dying. And I don't think there's a chance to contest, but it looks like Dragonair might be trying, and a rush is committed by the ground main to ensure that this does not happen.
And so is an orbital away from Vero, which I was gonna say I actually love because there's no threat to it. There's no Rampage anti to negate it in any way, shape, or form, and SOS uses that to their full advantage and takes the point right back in a very clean, coordinated fight. When they're all together and they have a fight plan, you can see it work so well. I love it.
Yep, I see like the difference of when SOS is on the same page. Now, what's on the same page is also both Tracers having a pulse bomb, so a massive stick maybe onto this Cassidy slows down the chance of creating, I guess, like the high noon. Pulse bomb commitment doesn't really get anything, maybe late.
Yo, they jumped them! Oh my god, you saw they was jumping Pred, and now they're jumping Zebra Cookie. Can't even get the mini pack because it was taken away in time. Dragonair tries to find the end kill, should be able to. However, Kind does find the way back to the objective for a last minute touch. However, it's going to be Ligma who's able to find the kill and also regain the Coalescence back in their favor once again. I do want to say Saucer swapped over to their own Moira, so we have equal Moiras, but we still have at least a Suzu on low ground main's part. But Sword of Skill is bringing it right back here.
And I think if you're a low ground main, that's not bad of a swap, right? Giving up that Lucio for the Moira, because you know that Sort of Skill's only source of speed is also just the ring and the shout, so there really isn't much chasing that is as needed. And I think Beat, as much as it's a great ultimate, is really more for sustain at the end of the day, but there's a Coalescence for SOS, and I think that is the game signal of to go in for SOS. But for low ground main, I think it's finding an opening for this high noon or to zone the high noon.
Ooh, but the opportunity comes with a Dragon Blade and Coalescence coming in from Sort of Skill, then it completely wipes the floor of low ground main. But that's not the end of it. It's not the worst thing in the world. A point just unlocked. They just flipped it in their favor. They have a Rampage and they have a Deadeye coming into his next fight, whereas Sort of Skill has nothing. Capital N.
Capital N, building towards a pulse bomb. I think if I'm low ground main, because I am at that, I guess, ult advantage, commit at least one. Right, just to create that opening, ensure the point goes in your favor before Sort of Skill build towards any other ultimate. If you can get that Juno pretty early on, that just means...
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, Dub is just not here. Oh no, that's not good. Cedric gets a really fantastic first pick onto Dub, and it just opened the floor for a low ground main to open up with the Deadeye and with the Orbital, with the Rampage. And we look at the ult cycling. I also want to comment that really fast as well. Supports have their ultimates. Kind has Pulse Bomb. They always have something.
Yeah, and for low ground main, that's a great thing to have. If what I want to see from them is to at least communicate who's going to use an ultimate for this next fight. And I think, given what we're going to be running into, a Coalescence might be the answer, and be aggressive about it.
Ooh, big pick on the Vero. And it was so close to the Orbital Ray as well. Saucer gets the Coalescence onto Ligma at the same time. Pull still on the back of pocket for Kind. And this might be the first point that we can see from low ground main. Recall Force early on, but so was a knife. And yo, that's hilarious.
That's a disrespect. Yeah, that's hilarious, but also just like, you knew they were low. And
yeah, like you
this Tracer knew the Queen was low and had no supports.
You know that they're trying to...
And this seals the point. This seals the point in their favor, because, like, SOS has to come in without their Queen if they want to take this point back. And if I am them, I might as well just give up the point. Like, don't waste any more effort. Don't give any more ult charge to them, but they want to commit. Apparently, never means never.
Wait, okay, but we commit ults here, however. We commit the rush, we commit the orbital ray from our Flex supports. We have the Swift Step CP, we don't use a second charge of it, unfortunately, so they just couldn't find a target in time before getting sliced and diced by Call Me M. Mora trying to track and chase down Kind here, and it works out favorably. And I have to, I'm not sure what really happened there, but it was looking so good for Low Ground and just take it all. They have one more engagement.
They have one more engagement, they have no ultimates to work with, and that's what makes this a bit dicier. SOS is definitely going to have 2 in this next fight, so if I'm low ground main, I wish I had at least pushed up pretty earlier, but they're going to have to try fight this to at least get someone to touch the point.
Ooh, Pulse Bomb goes right behind Saucer. Does get a little bit of damage on him, but not enough to get the final kill, the final blow. Now here comes the Coalescence from Ligma to help sustain the rest of this possibly last engagement, and with the downing of Zebra Cookie, I'm hard inclined to expect this to be a 3-0 victory onto Servasa, especially when Dub pulls up the blade and it's just Tracer all by them lonesome. It has, yo, if these games keep going like 3-0, 140 meters to 0, like it's just gonna go map 5 at this point. They're going crazy over here.
And I think what's crazy enough about it really is that if we do hit that map 5, it's going to look like it's been a back and forth, but it's like a back and forth really of just who's dunking on the other, right?
Yes!
Because at the end of the day, this just looks like SOS locked in and said, F you for, not giving us any map progress in Esperanza, and like throwing it back at them in New Junk City, which is their home map. So maybe there is a reason why New Junk City is their favorite map at the end of the day. I found it a bit dicey that like they gave up. They were willing to go in even when M was still coming back from spawn, but no, they still committed with ultimates. And I think the ballsy play, just the thought of, oh, we have like another round anyways if we do lose this one, I think was on their mind. I think they just wanted to seal it at the end of the day, and it worked.
Yeah, I think they didn't want to leave it a chance of, okay, we give them one and let's just go to the next. And they didn't want to give that up, because we've seen so many times where a team will choose, hey, we're going to back up at 95, let them take the point, we'll retake it, we're up 2. And then suddenly, they get reverse 3-0'd on Flashpoint. I've seen it multiple times. They didn't want to take that risk, and honestly, I have to agree. That's why they're Masters players, I'm a Diamond player. Like, like they got it. They knew more about what they want to do, how they're going to do it, and how they're going to execute it. So, good job on them. Can't lie. 2-1 so far in the series. Low Ground Main, their map mode and map choice here, as well as first hero bans in their favor. So, lots of things can happen as they have the ball in their court.
Yep, they have the ball in their court, but I think what is interesting is the fact that now we're down to just 2 remaining map types, and they're both Escort and Hybrid. So, if I'm Low Ground Main, these are generally maps that could be poke favored and for some brawl favored. So and the fact that the favorite maps of these 2 teams are pretty much the same. Their Hybrid favorite map is King's Row, and their favorite Escort map happens to be Watchpoint Gibraltar. Dive enthusiasts for both teams. I think we're in for a very close, what might be match point map.
We are. We 1000% are. It's gonna be a bloodbath. And I think it's really funny how neither team really wanted to play like Escort or a Hybrid. But if I were Low Ground Main, I would probably pick Escort, just because it's at least the most similar concept to like push. We're kind of just pushing the cart to point A to point B to point C, and you can maybe get some sort of leeway that way. I feel like when it comes to Hybrid, some teams just really don't want to deal with having to break through and capture the objective before going on to that Escort phase of the map. So as we move into either one, Escort or Hybrid, I'm kind of expecting like I believe some Bali's in the map pool as well, but we have Shambali as an option. We have, I think, Gibraltar. Oh, no, I don't think Gibraltar's in the map pool, is it? I can double check real fast. I'm such a bad caster, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's like Shambali. We have Rialto as the other one.
Yeah, we have Rialto, Dorado, and Rue. Oh, Rue, baby girl. I forget about you all the time. No one's picking you, I fear. But we are not picking Rue.
Whoever picks Rue needs...
They might need to go to the doctor, and I'll pay for your visit. It's okay. The fee did not go co-pay. It's okay. For Hybrid, we have the option of Blizzard World, Eichenwald. We mentioned Kings Row and Midtown, and just like that, my producer and I had to knock on wood, jinx there. We both are going to. I'm sorry. We have seen Kings Row be chosen as the option of map 4. It's gonna be up to Sword of Skill. They're probably gonna want to defend first here, so I want to see what's gonna happen. Will we see the Reinhardt? So I've been seeing M kind of hover over it multiple times today, and it just doesn't.
I think
do it.
I think M wants to play Reinhardt.
I
I
think
think
M wants to play
I think M 100% wants to play Reinhardt, but I think we're in the current state of the game where it is kind of hard to just play Reinhardt, right? Like it really involves playing a very hyper-specific kind of composition to enable the Reinhardt gameplay, and it can only work against certain compositions. I feel like there are other compositions that would like just quickly melt whatever that specific design of a Rein comp will bring out, but we'll have to see. And I'm also a 100% believer if you're playing Rein, you must always have a Mei. So if you have no player who can play Mei, put the Rein in the back pocket. I'm sorry, like it's not gonna work. I say this as someone who I played one tournament season just playing DPS, and I only played 2 characters, Sombra and Mei. I was the bane of a lot of people's existences.
That's all you need, though. I just, I also think like there is an off chance that they could. Oh no, I was gonna say they could pay Mei, and then they do. No. All right, unfortunately, chat, we're not gonna be seeing the Reinhardt today because Reinhardt without Mei is like Yang without Yang. It's the Pookie of my eye without the Pookie. It doesn't work, unfortunately. So no Mei can be seen here being banned from low ground Mei. Now it's up to what's the response to that? Do you ban Lucio for the love of the game? Do you just hate Brawl? Just ban Lucio at this point. It's okay.
Yes. I 100% agree. I respect the decision if SOS decide to just go, yeah, we're gonna ban Lucio.
At this point,
like, deny the traditional Brawl. Like, I don't know. I'm all for redesigning how King's Row should be played. I say like this sounds like heresy now.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't know what they're banning. I don't check. You know, to see what they ban. So it's just like I don't know. I hope it's not anything crazy. It might be a Lucio ban. It might be a Baptiste ban. But okay. So SOS is still, I believe, choosing. Taking 10,000 years, I believe. Oh, the whole 2 minutes actually. You have 2 minutes to choose your ban. They're banning very wisely, because we have seen. I think Sword of Skills. Yeah, Sword of Skills saw the Mei ban. They were like, "Damn, what do we?"
I feel like they were like, "I want to play Reinhardt," and then like Mei gets banned, and you're like, "Well, shit." So
it's like, "Damn, what do we do? What's the point?" So here's a recap of all the bans we had. Oh, it's gone. Huh, hope you guys read that fast. We finally have our ban locked and loaded. I gotta see. I think it's gonna be support. I am 100% sure.
I 100% like the map design of King's Row just really denies. No, this is not map 3. Monty, this is not map 3.
This is map 4. What happened? The map 3 is always a carry ban. We're breaking tradition right now. I don't like that. I don't like change.
No. But we've already broke tradition because we are going into King's Row with a Mei ban.
Yeah, you're right. What's the point?
So we've already broken tradition by banning Mei on a traditionally, Mei-enabled map like King's Row. And speaking of banning, the reason why you would ban a support instead of a tank is because just the inherent design of King's Row as a map and how it's, traditionally played, right? Already limits which tanks you can play on the damn map. So at the end of the day, banning a support has more impact.
Also has a lot of impact. Getting Hoxie Foxy back in here, subbing out for Dragonor. We saw a little bit of Hoxie Foxy last time he played, and he was kind of a menace. I can't lie. I think a lot of the major force in what gave SOS their win in round 1. Just to toot their horn a little bit as they are coming in for King's Row, and I want to hype them up real fast. Really excited to see King's Row come back, though. However, we are not going to be seeing the man, like you said. We're not going to be seeing the Kiri either. And Kiri I'm okay with, just because it kind of limits some competitions that would have been viable without Mei, and
I thought of it.
You thought of it?
I thought
we have your moment. What happened?
It's because they can't play Diva.
Oh.
Because technically, if you think about it, like as much as like King's Row is a brawl map, right?
They're gonna play Diva.
We could still play Diva, especially
sure.
if Zebra Cookie is like crazy nutty on the mech character. But the part of the reason why you get immense value from it is because you're playing Kiriko with it, right? The heals could travel faster. Kiri could at least play in these high grounds, right? And Diva could just always zoom right back at the Kiri, and like a few well-timed lobby of Suzu, it's gonna get value. But now you toss it out of the way, you really can't play Diva as effectively into everything else if the Suzu's out. And the Suzu, no Suzu equals you can open up to more different kinds of compositions like an Ana, because now you have antis everywhere, and that seems to be the game plan of these two teams.
Yeah, they realized that what are you gonna do with my auntie? Suzu it? Oh, not gonna happen today. The Juno Ana coming out on both ends here on attack and defense. Say the only difference we're gonna be seeing is a double sniper actually from low ground main, jumping over to the Ash instead off the Hanzo, and then we have the traditional Soldier and Tracer for sort of skilled here on the defense side. The Pharah, I'm also pretty big fan of, honestly, on attack side. You get a bunch of free vertical cover. You get the hotel. You get to put a lot of pressure onto the backline. Big fan of it, I can't lie. And it's already putting a little bit of pressure onto Call Me M, who's now forced to really play around the mini pack inside the statue. And who's gonna really check Kind besides a rail shot from Hoxie Voxie?
Oh yeah, no. Well, you also can trust your Ana to not be healing and doing pot shots at the Pharah, but no, Hoxie Voxie already out of the question. So this is up to everyone else from sort of skilled, maybe Dub, to pressure out the Pharah and make them uncomfortable. But no Soldier means they could just jump in, do pepper damage onto a hotel, and cap the point slowly. Yes, someone touch point.
My point? Surely someone touched. My point is like one away from a tick. Thank you. We do find a trade-off between Ligma and Zebra Cookie. So we trade your flex support for the for Ramatra, and I'll take that if I'm sort of skilled, especially if we're able to find Pred at the same time. But the respawn is a little bit more in favor of low ground main just because it's right there. And oh, I think my supports are completely separated. Anti-nade used a little bit selfishly. But Zetter has to either get out or die fast to get that spawn with Saucer. I don't think it's gonna... Oh, they get out! Skinny Queen! Okay.
Wait, yeah, no. But ultimates still work with Pred already building towards a Bob and Dub with a Pulse Bomb. So you're hoping that Pulse Bomb at least gets a stick on one of these supports, because that's going to slow down the ult charge buildup for these big ultimates. But if I am low ground main, I want to build towards that Bob, because that just means more pressure onto the point and peppering damage into Zebra Cookie, who's already...
Oh, we got...
Ooh.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, we gotta look at Zebra Cookie a little bit here, and Saucer, both super low already. Pred does find Ligmatoes in the thick of it, and can we get the Pharah? Is Dub's apparent job now. The Nano has been expended onto Zebra Cookie to secure the objective so far, and Pharah is still alive in the backline. Ideally, just to put a little bit of pressure as much as they possibly can while the rest of Sora skill comes back. Hoxie Foxy has the overclock ready as well, and Pred again has Bob. So in the event of a recontest, they have someone to negate that. Ooh, we don't get a touch. Oh no, it's okay. 4 minutes on the clock here. We have a couple ultimates ready for either side around Archway.
We have about 8 ultimates about to be online as this goes through Archway. So I'm going to be seeing at least both teams commit to something. I would be surprised if Kind barrages midway through a fight, but Bob is committed first by low ground main.
There's 3 support ultimates expended here. Barrage comes through, but not for very long. I need to see the end of this fight. It looks like sort of skill do bring it back. Defense-wise, it's going to be staggering out Zebra a tiny bit, and there it is. Annihilation, the only thing online for low ground main, funnily enough. They used 3 ultimates. Nano was spent a little bit earlier.
And I think that's what made the difference for these two teams. Sort of Skilled had both support ultimates and just hard committed with both of them, whereas low ground main would only had that Juno ultimate, and that really isn't a lot just to sustain through what is a damage mitigated Ramatra in your face and also in a Juno ult. So they, M was just hard enabled, but Ram v Ram situation I think is what's going to happen in this next fight if low ground main wants to push through.
I was gonna look at the shields. Look at this. We have 2 annihilating Ramantras going at it. We've lost 2, however, in favor to Zebra Cookie. They Call Me M still trying their best to negate as much as damage, but the anti-nade is not what you need right now as they get pummeled to almost to death here, and at least pummeled into the second objective by Zebra Cookie, who is still in this annihilation. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, which is a nemesis form, excuse me. Wow.
SOS, your saving grace is both your DPS have ultimates to work with, whereas low ground main, the closest thing they have is a nano, right? So your goal as well, if you can find that Ana and you're ult tracking well, you find that Ana, stick that pulse, harass her, force out cooldowns, whatever you can do just to make sure that the nano isn't built up, and that allows you to retake the point. And if I'm SOS, I just need to commit to something.
I need to commit this overclock now from Hoxie Voxy, but I think they're waiting for the space to be made from Call Me M, but Zero Cookie just going right in. There we go, Nemesis form procced open, and there is that Nana we're talking about, how we just need to avoid it as much as possible. Oh my goodness, and we're still, fighting the backline here. We've traded off, it's a 2v2 right now, but with Zero Cookie having a little bit better resource management right now against Call Me M, they're able to find, of course, the kill needed alongside the damage output of Pred. 3 minutes, a little bit less than actually, to push us all the way to third for low ground main.
Yep, and I think this swap of low ground main onto maybe this Genji is helping them a lot. I think this is something that's less being tracked by the team, and Dub decides to mirror in kind, so we have a mirror match up. Hoxie Foxy really needs to use this Sojourn ultimate at some point, and what is happening?
Oh my goodness, it's a lot going on. There's a Genji on my Ana, my Vermantra is really low, we gotta get care. We get the care from Ligmatos, but Ligma's out of position because Genji is still looking at my back line, and no one's turning around to look at him. I'm getting stressed out for you. You can win the fight! You can do it, Ligma! I'm sorry, but you're dead! But Ligma survived, and then they gets the nano off onto Call Me M, who kills the kind of Genji, but is it gonna be enough? Is it gonna be a 3-pointer, or is it gonna be a defense side, a win for Sword of Skilled? Call Me and retreats back to the objective. We are seeing Saucer, honestly, in a really safe spot, and no one's looking at them. So they're getting all this free value. We're getting all of the touch needed. Here comes a Dragon Blade coming in from Kind. No nano needed, just raw fundamentals and basics. The Venture just to touch, but isn't able to bury in time. That's a minute and a half on the clock. 3 points for low ground main. Sword of Skilled has a mountain to climb now.
But that is a feasible mountain to climb though for Sword of Skilled, right? There is no surprise to managing to full cap King's Row. I think it's one of the few hybrid maps that, because it's such a quintessential Overwatch map that gets scrimmed way too much, right? Is that capping it with time, or at least maybe with 0 time sometimes, is always feasible. I think it's one of the few hybrid maps where full capping all 3 points is feasible. So for Sword of Skilled, it's more of a question of, can we replicate what low ground main did in their own way? And I think from how it was looking, a lot of these fights between, I guess, these two teams ended up with just Sword of Skilled having players who were kind of split from each other. I think the support line, one way or another, may have been just on different targets, or maybe, you know, two stuck together. I'm not really completely sure.
1000%. And I'm stressed out. I'm getting so stressed out right now, Thor. I'm gonna start crying. They Call Me M, looking over at the Orisa so far, and that might have to be the answer to this composition. I like that Vero's procking over the Zenyatta so far. I haven't seen Zen too often as of late, but I think he's kind of a sleeper pick if you have a coordinated team, and clearly Sword of Skilled is coordinated enough to at least get on the same target as a Discord Orb, an anti-nade from Ligma, and honestly, Zero Cookies should be exploding. Oh! Well, Saucer did instead. Vero popping off on the Zenyatta, the newly picked Zenyatta. We go for the deflect. Doug comes from behind, just shuts it down almost immediately. And this is looking like a very clean, easy attack phase for the attackers of Sword of Skilled.
Yeah, and I think that's something at least I remember when we did cast that match with Sword of Skilled. Vero was on that Zenyatta and was doing immense work on the character. So they can land shots. They were fighting Widowmakers, I think, with it, or at least the hit scans. So they know where to position, how to enable the team, and that's exactly what is happening here. They're Sword of Skilled have opted to play characters that just hard enable a tank to be melted, right? And if you're playing Orisa, who just really survives long enough on their own staying alive if they manage cooldowns, it works perfectly well. And Vero doing so much of the damage is the first one to ultimate. Sort
I
of.
actually
Yes.
no, they are like that's honestly rare to see. I don't count Tracer as cheating, but Vero gonna be the first one to have a Transcendence of support ultimates on the board here. Saucer close behind, but that's because they're forced to use that anti-nade more selfishly rather than offensively to negate the damage of the Discord Orb. Vero by themselves is just changing up how low ground main has to play, but we proc the Transcendence super late. Honestly. In response to really nothing besides us losing Hoxie Foxy, which I don't entirely agree with, but there's nothing. There's an annihilation coming through. There's a Terra Surge right in the middle of the field here. We're gonna have a we a Knight here. Oh. Well, I was going to say the Transcendence for Knight would be really good, but we're gonna use the Annihilation like this, and then the Nano to help secure the kill. Yo, die, thank you. Zero Cookie was not dying. That was impressive more than anything else.
Yeah, and the Sojourn of low ground main just slides in trying to get a pick, and I think are managing to keep the Ana busy with Ligma really just tossing the nade just to close everything off. So sort of skilled enough to cycle which ultimates to use and really waiting out Annihilation until really squeezing out until how low M drops before Ligma sends out Nano. No ultimates to work with on both sides, just building close to a Sojourn ultimate. Our railguns should do immense damage, but with an anti, I think M has to back off just a bit.
Oh, we don't have our primary either. We got Throw Spear. Wait for our overheat to run right back down. Zebra Cookie getting real active. Has to use a block really early on. Gets pushed all the way back in a really uncomfortable position with Dub right behind them, peppering damage from the back end of things and beneath the shield. And here comes kind of help, negate some of that pressure being put onto Zebra Cookie, but they get cleaned up by Dub at the same time. Call Me M has to go retreat into the subway real fast, into the sewer system, excuse me, and get healed right back up.
Guess what we didn't have today? We haven't had our mandatory DC yet.
Yay! Well, Call Me M did go for a full reset of the computer between these maps, so thankfully it worked out beautifully as we don't have a DC quite yet. And it should not. We're gonna jinx it, aren't we? Call Me M about to get that Terra Surge at the same time. We have Transcendence also ready again for Vero. Also have a Nano almost ready. Hoxie Foxy on the off angle doesn't really find too much besides baiting out the Transcendence. And the Pulse Bomb finds not one but two. The Terra Surge just for some extra salt in the wound. 3 minutes over here on the second objective, and now we gain an extra to 4 minutes, a little bit more than the little ground main had in their own attack phase.
Okay, to be fair, not calling out They Call Me M, there was a moment there that they were in, I think, sewers where it looked like they were about to DC. Managed, I think, to clean it up at the end of the day, but Ligma, the only one with an ultimate online so far. This Nano is what's going to at least keep up They Call Me M through this next fight, especially when Zebra Cookie and Pred are close to their respective ultimates. So you're going to need an answer to at least what's coming in with, oh no, Zebra Cookie split.
Oh, there's a reason. They Call Me M has been doing such a good job to kind of just displacing Zebra Cookie because Ram suffers if there's no team with them. They're gonna be pushing this car around the corner of third objective, and now it's just a matter of can we get this overclock out? Can we get this orbital ray out? We're getting the overclock out. Oh, the overclock out. Don't get it twisted, Pred said. Pred trying to find somebody, but gets purple, has to slide out, and then Dub comes in for the execution. The kill needed here. Orbital ray comes through just to try to suffice, at least for the lack of Pred there. Annihilation happening right behind us, but here's an execution onto Kine, who goes over to the Widowmaker, and everyone backed out so fast that the Annihilation timer ran out, unfortunately. Dub in the backline gets healed up by the Harmony Orb coming in from Vero, who themselves is really purple, has to find a way to get revived right back up. Another Transcendence ready again within about 4 minutes of one another. Kind gets pulled into the spawn room. Dub finds that kill, and just like that, as we were talking about Dub, it is a sort of skilled W, a full minute difference between these two teams.
Oh, full minute difference, but if there's one thing we know about hybrid maps is that even with that much time, you can still be held on the first point.
Oh, and it happened a little bit earlier. I mean, low ground main's own attack, they did a good job of kind of breaking through really early on. I mean, the difference of time between both teams when they eventually opened the point and also got second point was about 30 seconds and 45 seconds. They weren't super different from one another. But now that Zero Cookie has seen the Orisa, I'm wondering what the option is. Is it gonna be the Ram? Is it gonna be a change in style? Is it gonna be maybe a backline swap? I know, you know, Zenyatta does kind of put Orisa through the ringer because there's nothing to really disturb the Discord from her besides a full disengage. So some options can be seen here. I mean, I see the sim already. Maybe for a quick TP.
I think no. I get it. I get the play. I think picking the Lucio for a better disengage is the plan. I think at least
Ooh.
with an anti with maybe the sustain. So I think, let's see. I'm waiting. Okay, are we sticking to this?
I think, yeah, I think we're sticking to this. I think we're sticking to the Cassidy. Oh, no Tracer.
You know?
Why did you do this to me?
I think that might be just to make the backline a bit more uncomfortable and have really play a bit safer and have less sustain. But wow, what the hell?
Well, you said uncomfortable, and Hoxie Foxy might be the most uncomfortable person here. Gets called out by the Vortex, and I think we have the perk where it like explodes in the air, which I'm pretty sure we weren't expecting. And as a reminder for everyone, when we go into this third and fourth rounds, you have all three perks, all three levels of your perk available to you. So everyone in this lobby has all of their perks. And if we're not aware of what we have chosen, that kind of explosiveness just happens, you know?
I mean, we have an idea once we get back onto Ramatra's screen if that's indeed what they picked, as in any player POV, you can see at the bottom right above the bullets what the perks they ended up picking are. But Pred trying to keep this other Tracer in check, I think, is what is happening, as they know that Dub is playing in that high ground. And if we look at ultimates to work with, nothing on the board yet, but it's looking in the favor of low ground main as long as they stay alive and make sure Dub doesn't get to easily stay in this high ground as they want.
They're trying, but recall rate forced out. Dub goes straight in for the kill, doesn't find it, has to recall by themselves, and that Tracer is still there, and Kind finds the smallest little bit of pixels onto Dub and gets the headshot needed to help Pred get that high ground you're talking about earlier and get a little bit of space given towards them. We also have the perk where you get the Orisa's old shield back, which I think I like a little bit more than the Lance, at least on the defense side of things. You have a shield versus shield. Overtime has been activated here. Here comes the Transcendence and the Nano. I think sort of skill is definitely waiting and hoping this is gonna be the last fight. Now we're going for the Terror Surge into the entire point. Here comes a Pulse Bomb into a rail shot into Zebra Cookie. Oh my goodness, it is back and forth, but at the end of the day, it should be going in favor of sort of skilled, as we are clearing out this Tracer who has some sticky fingers, but gets cleaned up anyway by Hoxie Foxy. Not too bad of a push. You still gotta get through all those 6, however.
But I think for low ground main, you are happy to even get that card past Arches, right? That means you have more options, I guess, for defense, right? Part of it is, you know how you do hit that overtime and the card just stops right under Arches? That sometimes can be a dicey place for it to end, because there's only pretty much one fight territory in that situation. With 2.5 minutes on the clock, you can at least definitely have a solid defense on this, capture point. Try to whittle down the time of SOS to as much as you can before it unlocks and they have to push it through Archway. That just means if you're low ground main, you have a number of defense options should you lose that first point. Your main goal really at the end of the day is not to lose it. And it looks like they're going to be going for an Orisa Mirror. M decides to still stick with using the shield perk for the Orisa. So I think for them, they see more value on the shield perk no matter which side you're attacking or defending.
Yeah, for sure. I like it more than the spear in general. Just that big open soccer field you get as a shield it's a little bit curved. You can get a little bit more cover on the top and the sides. It's super underrated, I feel like, and I love when we're seeing it happen on both Orisas here. You're charging up the volley of all time, but Call Me M is going straight in. Double shields coming through from either Orisas here. Gets speared away. Call Me M forced to retreat around the corner, and looks like Zebra Cookie also kind of getting forced back off the objective. That shield comes back so quick. Wow. High ground being dominated by Saucer here. Tries to throw Antinate, but doesn't really find too much besides the death of Pred. Hoxie Voxie once more just making sure their job is to take this Tracer out of the equation and the Ana at the same time. Now all we gotta do is just stall as much time as possible, give give Sword of Skilled as little time as possible for this attack, and hopefully they don't get to the golden box's victory. But dub is a problem that has not been addressed yet.
Yep, and it looks like the Tracers are trying to duke it out with one more touch, hopefully, but it looks like low ground main opting to defend Archway instead. Might be better, less open areas to have to fight, and if I am low ground main, I would take that, right? Wait for this card to really turn the corner, but they probably have already takes out Kind, and that's so unkind for that situation.
It has been very unkind for the situation. Kind of in the fight. Now there's a Nano in front of my face. It's a reset. She's going straight in with the shield. We got back up. But we can't back up too much because then you give them more space to get to that golden box of victory and take this series 3-1. They have to come back soon enough, but Fred's not going to be the one to do it. It has to be Zebra Cookie, but they're not going to be able to touch because the Terrors pull them right back in. The Orbital Ray does come in from Zetter. We get a trade-off of the Anas and the Juno. Oh, big Transcendence comes through from Vero. Just wait to the very last second of that Terror Surge from Zebra Cookie. It is going to be Dub sacrificing themselves for the win of the mid-season grand finals in favor of Sword of Skilled.
Sword of Skilled managing to take it away from low ground main at the end of the day. Just great job at, I guess, the ultimates that they were using to lock it up at the very end of the day. It looked almost dicey with Viral at that last point trying to deal with the Orisa, but the Transcendence really does a lot. So I am happy for both of these teams because they really did put up a good fight at the end of the day.
They did. They gave me, and like I said, all these grand finals have been extremely, if anything, entertaining to watch, to commentate, to analyze over, and this was no different. Sword of Skill taking it 3-1 after a somewhat rocky in-between onto push on Esperanza against low ground main, but I think they found their footing with the Orisa, found so much value with displacement, with positioning, with punishing certain approaches from low ground main, and they were able to be the victors of the midseason, giving them a whole match win added to their record for the regular season. In second place with low ground main now comfortably sitting in second place, they will be getting 3 map wins instead added to their record. So 2 relatively good prizes to get regardless if you won or not.
Yep, and I think for low ground main, what you're taking away from this is, hey, this is how this #1 seed team in the NA Masters division functions. We took a map from them, and the other maps we did decent. We did pretty well. So it's more of let's take that, learn from them, and figure things out because the season really isn't over yet.
Yeah, we have 4 more seasons left. Week 5 beginning right after this week, of course. Come Monday, our teams will be scheduling their matches and duking it out on these streams across all 4 of our divisions, and that's always a pleasure to watch. But we gotta get ready for our interview. We gotta get ready for our victor to come back to us once again and gloat on their victory that they so deserve. So we'll be right back as we get someone from the victors over to our side of things.
Lots of love. Love. Lots of love. Love. Lots of love. Love.
And of course, if you were here 2 days ago, you might not have expected or may have expected us to have the same interview candidates once again for the victory in favor of Sort of Skilled. I am pleased to welcome back Dub Braun, and am back to the caster desk here. Guys, as you can see, Lily, Dub LeBron. Guys, how are we feeling? That was a massive victory.
I'm feeling amazing. Like I'm just glad to be back. Like I'm just glad to be here. I don't know about M, but you know, I'm feeling great.
I mean, if there's any place I belong, it's in the winner's seat. So I mean, you know, it's same old. But you know, I feel good. I'm happy we're here. And we're gonna keep going like this.
No, I love that. I was expecting this. I wanted the gloating. I wanted y'all to get that victory because you guys were very confident coming after our previous interview in your round 1 just yesterday, I believe. And now that you're seated here, you're at the top. How does it feel now going into week 5, the regular season, just next week?
Well, I mean, if you looked at our schedule, you know it's a rematch of right now. So I mean, if I think we played a pretty goofy today at some points. I think you guys saw map 2. That was insane. That was horrific. So I mean, if anything, we're just hungrier. That's all we are. We're just hungrier to keep rolling, to keep getting win after win. We've dropped 2 maps this tournament, and Dub, I think I speak for the whole team when I say that in our hearts that's pretty unacceptable.
Absolutely.
And I hope that doesn't happen again. I think the maps that we did lose this tournament were goofy. We played like absolute garbage. So we're just not gonna do that anymore. We're gonna get better. And we're gonna stay hungry.
I mean, all goofiness aside, right? You also have on top of that, you know, being a chronic DCer, as you stated in our previous interview. And which brings me to my first question, because did you almost DC by any chance
Kings Row?
in Kings Row?
Yep. I was in Subway. I was DC'd. I was not there.
I told you. I called it, Marty.
That's crazy.
Because okay, so behind the scenes we were counting. There's gonna be 1 DC per map.
4.
And,
Right.
there was 1 per map.
Wow.
So
Dude,
actually worked.
behind the scenes, to peel back the magic curtain, whenever there's a TV on downstairs in my house, my computer's shut, dude. So we had someone watching the Phoenix Suns game or something. I don't know. We're cooked.
Oh no. Well, that is definitely something that cannot be in your control sometimes. So that is how it is. But what you've mentioned how it's just really, you know, the maps that you've lost is goofy. So how do you plan to work on ensuring that they don't turn out as goofy as they were, you know, for these past 2 games?
Deb, what do you think?
Well, we're definitely gonna VOD for sure. That's huge. I think too, especially this last map that we just had, I think our comp was just way worse into what they were playing. I think we either have to swap Winston or swap our backline, but we didn't. And I also shouldn't have been on Echo either. I need to get off Echo like way sooner. So that's on me. I need to get on my actual good hero. Besides that though, I don't really think there's too much to read into it. We really played silly. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, staying mentally locked is kind of a problem we've always had as a team. Like, especially in scrims that we think we're like the better team. Like by the second half, we're just losing maps because we hate winning. So I mean, a lot of it is just a mental thing, and just staying, you know, like I was saying earlier, stay hungry, foot on the gas, don't let up. Which I think we'll do a lot better going forward.
No, I agree, and I cannot wait to see you guys come back during the regular season, and ideally sliding into that playoff with your beautiful
you mean
record.
finals.
I'll see you in the grand finals. I'm hearing. See you in grands. You guys get as you guys know, you guys get an extra match win on your record at the same time for getting first place in the midseason, which I think is very beautiful to see. So that's goated for your record going into the regular season again. For your final question, kind of, you guys, it's a little bit late. I want you guys to rest up for, again, that week 5 coming up. Who do you want to give a shout out to on the broadcast?
Oh, you go first, Dub.
I'm gonna shout out LGM. Thank you guys for not banning Tracer so much. That really made things easy for us. Shout out my backline. Viral, you're just a genius. I don't know how else to say it.
That trank.
Yeah. And shout out my take, for not, giga feeding this time too. Shout out Mark Deasy. Seeing you in chat again, my goat. And yeah, that's it for me.
And for me, like he said, shout out my players, especially like you, Deb. You're my goat. My back line keeps me up way more than I deserve to, and my DPS lines are players of steel. But I don't know if this is a shout out per se, but you guys heard me last game, and you heard the shout out that I had to give, and all I'll say is I don't lie. So low ground main, I'll see you next week, and I'll see you in the finals. And I'm so sorry you're not winning those either. Let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it moving. Let's 3 up the speed run. Stop playing with me. I love that. You guys are always a pleasure to talk to, always a pleasure to watch. Absolutely wonderful games, no matter how goofy or how many DCs we might have accidentally had.
Thank you guys so much.
And there'll be much more, I'm sure, in the future that we'll be covering. But I'll let you guys go. Have a wonderful night, and I'm really excited to see how you guys play in the next couple of weeks.
Good night,
Thank you.
CGL Nation.
Thank you guys for casting too so much.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.
Huge.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much,
Good
guys.
Thank you.
Such talented players. I love them. They became quickly some of my favorite people. And just playing for hours.
They're also they're such a riot to have as
great
interviewees. Yeah, I actually have stuff to say. A bit of banter, expecting a lot,
great.
at least from
you
no
can just
game.
Imagine the actual team vibes just from them too. It's so amazing. But that is gonna conclude at least Saturday's grand finals coverage for the mid-season bracket. Tomorrow, guys, we have an EU grand finals and an NA grand finals coming your way, hot and ready. I believe my division, Diamond, I'm not playing in the grand finals, unfortunately, but the people we lost to is fighting for their lives in that grand finals. Cuddle Puddles versus Solar Eclipse is happening tomorrow in Diamond. We have the EU match as well around 3 o'clock Eastern for my NA homies, and the Diamond game is, I believe, around 9. I will double check for you guys, but as soon as you get locked in and loaded, you guys should be here for CGL 1 and 2 to see all that beautiful, beautiful coverage and my beautiful friends duking it out for that match win on the record. Shout out to my producers, shout out to my observers. This prank video is also really funny. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Thor, thank you so much for covering and casting this beautiful series with me once again. Any final words?
If there's one thing that this match has to offer is that it was a banger, and I'm pretty sure the 2 remaining finals that we will be seeing tomorrow are going to be bangers. So for everyone in CGL Nation, it's great to have you tonight and for dropping by to see this cast. But until next time, we will see you, well, not us per se, but other staff. You'll see them back at CGL casting these grand finals matches. So till then, have a good night and see y'all tomorrow.